What if the next great discovery wasn't a celebration, but a warning? Imagine this, August 2025. Deep within the data streams of the James Webb Space Telescope, a technician notices something off. Not a glitch, not a cosmic ray, but a faint, rhythmic pulse. An anomaly that, by all rights, shouldn't exist. Experts are called in. They pore over the numbers, trying to make sense of this whisper from the void. It doesn't match any comet, any asteroid, any known cosmic event. Its structure is too precise, too repetitive. It feels engineered. Within days, the source is confirmed. A strange object designated 3I Atlas. It's not from around here. It's an interstellar visitor, only the third we've ever detected. But its orbit is unlike anything we've seen, a trajectory so precise it defies all odds. Then comes the chemical shock. As observatories around the world lock onto Atlas, they find it's venting gas. But it's not the water and carbon monoxide we expect from a comet. It's pure, refined carbon dioxide, nothing else. A chemical signature science has never witnessed. As classified Webb sessions go dark and data mysteriously vanishes from public archives, authorities behind the scenes begin to scramble. So, what exactly did the James Webb Telescope just alert the world to? And why do so many scientists suddenly seem afraid to speak? Raw data from the James Webb Telescope rarely leaves room for imagination. It's cold, hard numbers. Yet, in the first week of August 2025, an unnamed technician saw a flicker, an odd, repeating motif buried deep in the detector frames. At first, it looked like simple noise, a faint pulse whispering across the infrared spectrum. The timestamp, August 6, 2025. By protocol, all anomalies are flagged and rechecked. But this one wouldn't go away. Every recalibration, every diagnostic, it was still there. A late shift analyst ran the numbers again. The repetition was undeniable. The signal's symmetry didn't match instrument errors or solar interference. It lined up with nothing. No water vapor, no carbon monoxide, just a persistent, rhythmic beat in the carbon dioxide channel, like a metronome ticking in the dark. This mechanical precision drew more eyes. By the end of the week, staffers across multiple agencies were quietly comparing notes. They all found the same thing. The intervals weren't random. They landed on whole seconds, repeating with clockwork accuracy. No natural cosmic source in the entire JWST archive had ever shown this kind of order. As the object's coordinates were pinned down, the questions multiplied. Was this a new kind of comet? Or something else entirely? Those raw frames, still unreleased to the public, became a source of quiet alarm. The numbers were telling a story that no one was ready to explain. Let's rewind a bit to July 1st, 2025. The Atlas telescope in Chile registers a new object, moving against the background stars. Its orbit is flagged as hyperbolic unbound, coming from beyond our solar system. It's given the name 3I Atlas, only our third confirmed interstellar visitor. Unlike the cigar-shaped mystery of Oumuamua or the icy cyanide-laced Borisov, this one arrived playing by a different set of rules. Dr. Lin, an orbital analyst, led the verification. She traced the object's journey back to mid-June using archived images. Each data point confirmed its path. Inbound velocity, solar approach angle, and a trajectory that would take it deep inside Mars's orbit by late October. The math was clear. 3I Atlas wasn't bound to our sun. Its trajectory guaranteed it would visit once and never return. But the object's path wasn't just unbound. It was unnervingly precise. Its entry vector aligned almost perfectly with the ecliptic-plane, the flat disk where our planets orbit. Statisticians ran the numbers. For a random interstellar object, an alignment this perfect should happen less than once in hundreds of arrivals. Yet here it was, threading the solar system's midline like a needle. Dr. Lin's team ruled out any gravitational slingshots from our planets. The object was moving too fast, too straight. Then they calculated its size. Early estimates suggested a body nearly 46 kilometers across, far larger than its interstellar predecessors. This wasn't a pebble or a snowball. It was a minor world crossing the void. Dr. Lin's summary was chillingly concise. Hyperbolic, inbound, and active. We're witnessing something we've never seen before. This confirmation set off a chain reaction. But as the first data came in, the mystery only deepened. The question shifted from asterisk, where asterisk 3I Atlas came from, to asterisk, what asterisk it was. Here's where things get really strange. Comets are supposed to wake up with water. As they get closer to the sun, ice turns to gas. At 6 astronomical units out, beyond Jupiter, solar heat is weak, and you'd barely expect a stir. But the first spectra from JWST told a different story. The only thing coming off 3I Atlas was carbon dioxide. No water vapor, no carbon monoxide, not even a trace. Just a single, sharp CO2 line burning through the infrared at levels far beyond any known comet. Astronomers ran the numbers again and again. The ratios didn't change. Dr. Anders, a senior spectroscopist, described it as bizarre, almost surgical. In every single observation, the CO2 signature dominated. Water lines, normally the brightest feature, were completely absent. The chemistry wasn't just unusual. It was uncharted territory. No known comet had ever displayed this kind of exclusive outgassing. Our models for how comets form and behave simply couldn't explain it. This anomaly triggered a scramble for answers. Teams at NASA and ESA reprocessed the raw data, looking for any possible error. Every test came back clean. Other telescopes confirmed the same result: carbon dioxide and nothing else. A quiet internal note from Dr. Anders began to circulate. If this is a comet, it's the strangest one we've ever seen. The question wasn't just what powered 3I Atlas, but what could possibly suppress every other molecule we expected to see. Why did this object seem almost engineered to keep its secrets locked in a single spectral line? Then came the silence. The JWST observations from August 6, 2025 never made it to the public archive. Instead of data, there was just a cryptic placeholder. The files had vanished behind a restricted access wall. For days, any request for the data returned an error code. No explanation. Inside the European Space Agency's Operations Center, a data custodian leaked a set of internal memos. They described a total embargo on all images from that session. The official reason? Unverified anomalies in the spatial structure of the comet's coma. The language was clinical, but the details were anything but. According to the leak, the raw infrared images revealed a nearly perfect concentric halo of carbon dioxide emission. It was a flawless ring symmetrical to the absolute limit of the telescope's resolution. No jets, no tails, nothing to break the pattern. And at its center, a core that burned hotter than solar heating alone could explain. The internal report compared the structure to every known natural phenomenon. None of them fit. And at the center of this impossible object, the infrared brightness spiked. Something was generating heat from within. The leaked memo ended with a question that hung in the air. Why would a comet vent only pure carbon dioxide? And why would that emission form a flawless shell around an internal hotspot? No public statement followed. The embargo held. For the first time since it was launched, a major target's images were sealed away, locked behind a digital chain of custody that led straight to the top. But a few frames did get out. And in the deepest images, a shadow. A thin, filament-like line sweeping across the object's core. Not a dust lane, not a natural feature. It was a straight, rotating band of darkness, visible only in the mid-infrared. Analysts at first thought it was a processing glitch. But the shadow's position shifted perfectly with the object's rotation, always tracing the same axis, always perfectly linear. No natural comet had ever cast its own shadow this way. Material scientists weighed in. For a shadow like this to exist, the body couldn't just be porous ice. It would need a shell something dense enough to block infrared light, yet somehow engineered to let pure carbon dioxide vent through. The geometry was too clean for fractured rock. The numbers pointed to a hollow, possibly metallic structure, wrapped in some kind of masking layer. The object known as 3I Atlas wasn't just a visitor. It was a vessel. And as it continued its silent, precise journey toward the inner solar system, the question was no longer what it was, but what it was carrying. The shadow didn't match. No matter how many models they ran, the dark patches on the surface of the interstellar visitor, 3I Atlas, refused to fit the profile of a normal comet. That's when Dr. Remy, a planetary engineer, put forward a chilling hypothesis. What if the object was hollow? What if the shadows weren't from mountains and valleys, but from internal machinery, structural ribs, or even a massive scaffold spinning just beneath the surface? The cloud of carbon dioxide surrounding it, so perfectly uniform, might not be natural outgassing at all. It could be an engineered cloak, designed to diffuse heat and hide the object's true nature. When they recalculated the mass based on its brightness, the numbers left room for a vast internal cavity. It wasn't a comet, it was a shell. An ancient asteroid, hollowed out and repurposed for travel. A ship hiding its true purpose behind a manufactured veil. With every new image, the evidence became harder to ignore. The clockwork rotation of the shadows, the shell-like gas emission, the complete absence of water. It all pointed to one unbelievable conclusion: an engineered interstellar craft. And the story wasn't being told by the light it reflected, but by the light it was hiding. Dr. Malik, a specialist in time series astrophysics, was brought in to make sense of the data. Her first move was to analyze the infrared signals coming from the object. She broke them down, mapping every single spike of intensity against time. The result was a pattern that defied all natural explanation. Instead of the chaotic random flicker you'd expect from a comet, the pulses were arriving in a perfect sequence. 2 seconds, then 3, then 5, then 7, then 11 seconds apart. Prime numbers marching in perfect order. In the language of physics, randomness is the law of the universe. But this was a rhythm. It was deliberate, as if composed by an intelligence. The object's massive size, 46 kilometers in diameter, only added to the mystery. While bodies that big aren't impossible, its trajectory was, Dr. Malik. Simulations showed there was only a 1 in 500 million chance for any object to enter our solar system on a path so perfectly aligned with the ecliptic plane, the flat disk where all our planets orbit. It wasn't just passing by. It was slicing through our solar system like a probe on a planned survey mission. Coincidence could no longer explain it away. Prime number signals and an impossible trajectory. 2 red flags, one after the other. But Dr. Malik's report had one more terrifying detail. The signal wasn't static. Over 3 weeks, the pulse pattern had shifted in clear, distinct steps. Phase 1 was simple pulses. Phase 2 paired bursts. By August, it had entered Phase 3, a 5-group pattern repeating every 283 seconds. The memo warned there were 5 phases in total. The current cycle was ticking down. This wasn't just a signal. It was a countdown. And for now, the entire world was listening in the dark, completely unaware. Orders moved faster than rumors. By noon on August 7th, something changed. Internal access to all data from the Webb and SPH-ERX telescopes was suddenly cut off. Only a skeleton crew remained. Researchers who tried to log in were met with generic maintenance notices. The public live feeds for 3i Atlas flickered and then went dead, replaced by static summaries. Even the comet tracking dashboards went dark. Officially, nothing was wrong. Unofficially, a new directive had landed on every major government agency's desk. All data related to the object was now classified under a new designation: technological unknowns. Inside the Pentagon, Colonel Reyes took charge. Her expertise was in orbital threats, not astronomy, but the urgency was crystal clear. By 4 p.m., the U.S. Space Force had greenlit a rapid response launch. The X-37B, America's reusable military spaceplane, was prepped for a secret mission. There was no press conference, no public webcast, just a silent descent from Cape Canaveral under the cover of night. Its flight path was altered mid-mission, sending it on a new course toward the Mars-Earth corridor, exactly where 3i Atlas was predicted to pass. No payload manifest was ever released. No public statement was made. For the first time in history, the world's most powerful eyes were all pointed at a visitor from another star, and the rest of the world had just been locked out of the room. Course corrections aren't supposed to happen in deep space. Yet, in late August, astronomers logged a series of small, deliberate deviations in 3i Atlas's trajectory. These were tiny kinks in its path, too precise to be caused by solar wind or random gas jets. Professor Santos, a specialist in non-gravitational dynamics, ran the calculations 3 times. The result was always the same. The object was adjusting its own path as if responding to unseen commands. Each tiny correction nudged it closer to that critical Mars-Earth corridor, following a route no comet should ever know. Meanwhile, Dr. Vale, a molecular analyst, was digging deeper into the strange infrared pulses. The prime number sequence was just the beginning. She discovered a second layer of information hidden in the signal. The ratios between the intensity of the pulses perfectly mapped onto sequences found in DNA, specifically the helix-turn-helix motifs that proteins use to read genetic code. The numbers weren't just a countdown. They were a message, written in the language of life itself. At the same time, the Deep Space Network, our communication line to probes like Voyager and Pioneer, experienced 3 unexplained blackouts. Each time, our probes went silent for minutes, and each time it happened at the exact moment 3I Atlas crossed their line of sight. Engineers tried to blame it on solar weather, but the timing was too perfect. The object wasn't just moving. It was adapting, signaling, and by every indication, it was watching us back. 12 hours and 3 minutes. That was the key. Buried deep within the background noise of space, an anonymous analyst found an echo. It wasn't a random blip. It was a precise repeating signal occurring with a patience that no natural process could ever replicate. The analyst, a specialist in pulling faint signals from overwhelming noise, ran the data through every filter he had. Each time, the result was the same. A clear spike in the data, repeating every 12 hours and 3 minutes, right at the edge of the hydrogen line. The hydrogen line is the universe's cosmic calling card. It's a specific frequency that astronomers use to search for signs of life, a universal language we all share. But this was more than just a hello. When the analyst mapped out the pulse trains, a breathtaking secondary pattern emerged. The timing and wavelength of each individual burst, when decoded, traced a crude but unmistakable map. It showed the Triangulum Galaxy, M33, with a line drawn from there directly to our own position in space. The analyst's final report was short and chilling. The pattern is deliberate. It is not noise. It is not an artifact. In the entire history of astronomy, no comet, no asteroid, no interstellar wanderer has ever been found writing its own return address in the static of the cosmos. The message was clear. It knew where it came from. And it knew where it was. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you find these cosmic mysteries as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what happens next. Stay curious and keep looking up.